Stories from the living room. Real caregiving.
Real stories,
Real life.
Stories from the Living Room is a heartfelt and honest podcast focused on the real life experiences of caregiving, dementia, aging, and family dynamics. Shared from the place where care truly happens, the living room.
Hosted by Stacey Thornberry, owner of HomeWatch Caregivers of Northern Kentucky, and Colleen Burns, positive approach to care mentor and dementia specialist, the podcast brings listeners into everyday moments families and caregivers experience, both the challenging and the meaningful. Each episode highlights authentic stories, practical insights, and compassionate conversation drawn from years of hands-on home care experience.
Stories from the Living Room supports the belief that exceptional care starts with relationship, connection, presence, and dignity, and that the most important conversations about aging and memory happen at home.
Hey everybody, it's Stacey and Colleen. We're back for Stories from the Living Room. How are you guys today? We're excited to be back another week and talk a little bit about home care, different things that are happening as a caregiver in this space. So we thought today, I'll let Colleen kind of tell you a little bit about what we were going to talk about today.
Yeah, so thanks, Stacey. So today we're going to really focus in on what families wish they knew before hiring home care. That's a really hot topic here, and we get that question asked every day, many times. Yeah. So today we're really going to focus on a few areas. We're going to walk you through the right interview questions to ask, red flags you shouldn't ignore.
There are red flags.
There are a few. The reality of scheduling and what that consists of, why consistency matters more than you think, and how to understand this whole care plan thing and how it all works together.
And I think a lot of those questions or topics, people don't even know where to start. I think that they're just mostly in a crisis situation and all of a sudden they need to have care and they don't even know where to start. So I think this is a really good second episode discussion that we're having so that we can kind of lay out for you guys. We want this to be a simple process for you. We want this to be we want to give you these solutions so that when you get in this situation, or if you get in this situation, you're prepared.
Absolutely, Stacey. And I'll start with one of the major first questions we get asked that we kind of want you to rethink or maybe just change a little. How much do you guys charge? And yes, that is important, right? But should it be our focus? That first question really does matter. So maybe instead of how much do you charge, try something like, how specifically are your caregivers trained? Getting to know what kind of training that they do, specifically for hospice care, for transfers, obviously for dementia care. You want to get curious about that and figure out exactly how to communicate to it. How important is that, Stacey?
I think it's critical. I think that so many people just go right on into the price, but you have to really dig. And that is a critical question to ask, is about the training.
Yes.
I also think it's important to ask, how's this all going to be managed? Are you going to be involved in it? Is it going to be overseen by somebody, or are you just going to send random people? Are they going to have accountability? What happens when a shift isn't filled? There's so many questions. Those are just a few right at the beginning to ask, because you have to, or you want to develop a partnership with somebody.
Absolutely.
You don't here in left field and think that since you've hired home care, everything's going to be an easy, smooth ride. It really is a partnership.
Absolutely. We want to partner with you, and we want to provide the support that helps your loved one shine every day.
I also think there's some questions. How are you going to check and see that the care provided is happening? So do you do quality assurance visit? What exactly is a quality assurance visit? What does it entail? Do you want the family members involved? Do you have the caregivers involved? Those are things that are legit questions that you can ask. You want to over when you're interviewing. You don't just want to assume just because they have the word home care in their name or their title that they're a great company to be with. You really need to do your due diligence.
Yeah, and here at HomeWatch Caregivers, as you guys all know, we've been voted #1, and I don't mind bragging about this.
I know.
Because the Northern Kentucky Magazine voted HomeWatch for the last 6 years, the
Mhm.
number one. So that says a lot. But even digging deeper into that, we really want you guys to ask us anything, just beyond our training. But, what do you do when someone calls off the shift?
Mhm.
Are we going to have the same caregivers? Are we going to have that continuity of care?
Mhm. So I think I'll tell you what Home Watch Caregivers Northern Kentucky does, what I do. So I'll go out and meet every client, possibly, if not, Colleen will go or Jessica will go. But you have somebody in leadership meeting every single client. And then on the flip side of that, you have the same leadership team meeting the caregivers, because it's important that you have that match. It's important that you realize who's working for you and that that caregiver understands the expectations. And in that first meeting with the family, on this side, we get to explain the expectations of the caregivers and of the clients, and come up with solutions if there is a misexpectation.
Yeah, 100%.
Some people think that since you've hired caregivers, they're going to deep clean your house. That happens a lot just because you have hired someone, but that doesn't mean that the caregivers are definitely going to deep clean your house. We'll do light housekeeping. So those are things that are good to come right out of the gate and ask. But then also on the flip side, make sure your caregivers understand that as well. Because if caregiver A is a sub and she likes to deep clean, and then caregiver B, who's the normal one, comes in and does what we're asking, the expectation, fusion there. So everybody's got to be on the same page.
You're right. On the same page. And our focus is your loved one.
Mm-hmm.
We want to focus on your loved one. Not that we can't do other things. We will try to involve them in things. Like we've said, we don't do to people, we do with them.
Mm-hmm.
We provide the right support to make their day successful. So our focus will always be your loved one,
Mm-hmm.
whoever we are there caring for.
Mm-hmm.
So that's an important thing to keep
come
in the
back
front
to
of your
focus.
mind.
Like, you need to come back around and say, what's the purpose of having someone in here? And if you want somebody to come in and deep clean your house, we're happy to give a referral for that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Or if you need someone to do pet care, we're happy to give a referral for that. We're there as professional caregivers.
So Stacy, tell me a little bit about the process of how a care plan is developed.
Mm-hmm. So the care plan's developed completely by asking questions, individual questions. We're finding out what you did for a living. Or if you're not able to explain that, we're asking your loved one what you did for a living. We're asking if you like someone that talks a lot. We're asking things that were your favorite hobbies, or if you like to go to church, or faith's a big part of your life. We're asking if you like to exercise. Like, we want to know as much as possible about your loved one or yourself, so that we can kind of create that care plan so that you remain independent in your house. Like, we don't want to send someone in. If you like to read and have quiet time, we don't want to send in Chatty Cathy who needs, all day long just talking. We want to send in someone that is going to give you the level of comfort that you want. But some people want that. So then we have to find somebody that really loves to talk. And this is just outside of the care. So we have to make sure, care-wise and training-wise, that our caregiver is at the right level of care for, if it's a strict dementia case, or if it's a challenging case in regards to dementia or anything like that. We want to make sure that caregiver's got the proper training with the other personality attributes.
So what we have found is the more we know about their past, the more we know about their present, the more we can help with their future. And so we will ask questions like, hey, tell us some things that are triggers for your loved one, especially if they have brain change. Tell us some things that really soothe them. Is it music? Is it quiet time? Is it reading? So we really get to know your loved one, their personality, and then, okay, who's going to be best to support that person? Not all personalities get along, do they?
No.
we get it. We get it.
We want to know down to the specifics if your loved one likes Fox 19 or CNN. Like, we want to get that specific, because if we send in a caregiver and they don't have it on the right channel, we got a situation on our hands that could have been completely avoided.
You're right. That is right. And we definitely want to make it a match.
And it's not a perfect situation every time. So that's why it's important when you're interviewing home care companies that you feel comfortable talking with the person, the leadership person. You want to feel comfortable to be able to express your concerns or your expectations or, hey, this didn't happen. Can you address this for me? I mean, it has to be that partnership right off the beginning if you want it to be as successful as what we're trying to do.
Yeah. So Stacy, once you have that care plan developed, and let's say you've been in there for a month or so, what happens then? You guys have follow-up or?
So what we do here at HomeWatch is we have a HIPAA protected app, and they're monitored. The shift notes are monitored every single shift. And so that is good for us because we're looking for different changes in regards if they're sleeping more, if they're not eating as much and things like that. And we're able to meet with each family and we can update those care plans as the client's needs change, or if they had a fall or something like that, we can update that as we're going. So it's important to have that to be customizable. And then when we update that, we have the family fully involved in that. And so what does that mean on this side? What does the care plan do? The care plan is what is in the caregiver's app or in the caregiver notes, so that if we have a sub or anybody that might join the team as a new hire is joining the team, they can see what we're expecting them to do. They can see what happens at 8 o'clock every morning is Mr. Jones likes his coffee with 2 sugars. So that way we can go right on in and be successful and not have to ask as many questions. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
But it's important that when you're interviewing that initial care plan is signed off of by a family member, because you want to see what's happening or what the caregivers are being told about your loved one. So that way you can validate it and just say, hey, we need to update this care plan right now.
So it's matching expectations.
Yes.
So a really cool thing I like about the app that we use is when our caregivers find something that works. Oh, I tried this with so-and-so and it really worked. Great. Or I was struggling a little bit and another person will chime in and say, oh, well, I tried this. So it's really a good community of all the caregivers that are working with your loved one to share that information. So there's that continuity of care.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Stacy, tell us what happens if a caregiver calls off.
That never happens. Never, ever happens, Colleen.
I know.
But if it were to happen, this is an important question to ask. What's the backup plan, or what happens if my caregiver calls off? The key question to ask when you're doing your interviewing of home care companies. So there's a few things that can happen. You miss the shift completely. They don't even communicate that the shift's going to be covered or missed, that you just all of a sudden have no one. So you need to ask about the communication in regards to, am I going to get a phone call that somebody's called off? Am I going to get a phone call that there's a sub on the way? Am I responsible for staffing that shift today? Ask those questions because you want to know and be prepared, especially if you have somewhere you need to be. Is someone coming today? Is it a stranger? Do I need to be here to introduce my parent or loved one to that person? What's the process? So here at HomeWatch, we get the call from the caregiver that they're not going to be able to make it. We ask that the caregiver give us at least 2-hour notice. Doesn't always happen, but everybody's got a lot of things going on in their personal lives, but we do try to get that. And as soon as we're notified that the caregiver can't make it, we'll make sure the first step is to let the client know or a family member know, hey, we had a call off. We're working on this sub situation. If there is not a sub available, we're going to send the care manager or a lead caregiver. So we are going to provide you a qualified person that is familiar with going into many cases and able to work anything.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. So let me ask you this. When that happens, do you guys have people on call or, so you do have?
So on the weekends, we have someone on call.
Okay.
During the week, we are committed to doing our best to fill a shift. Absolutely. Again, this is not a perfect industry by any means, but we do our best to fill a shift. Some members of the leadership team even go out and fill the shift. And we might fill the shift for 2 hours instead of 4, but we make sure that there's been contact made. We make sure that that person's up, out of bed. We make sure that we're fully communicating what's going on. But we have an obligation here at HomeWatch Northern Kentucky. We're going to fill the shift. with a qualified person, and it's going to be monitored the whole time.
Okay.
And if we can't, then we've completely communicated that we have exhausted all options, and unfortunately, we are not going to be able to fill the shift. I mean,
Okay.
sometimes that happens because of the last minute call offs, things like that. But for the most part, we have a successful program, a successful process in place to get the shifts filled.
Yeah, so we do fill most of those shifts. Most of the time, I feel like it's more of the family going, you know what?
Mhm.
I got it.
Right.
Yeah, I'll go over and take
Right.
care of it. And so then we will back off.
Yeah, we'll back off if that's the
Yeah.
case, because we know it's uncomfortable sometimes for a new person to come in. But again, here at Home Watch, if we are sending someone in, you've got a member of leadership 9 times out of 10 right next to them to
Mhm.
do the introductions, to make sure that everybody's comfortable before we leave.
So I know that Home Watch Caregivers concentrates on getting that caregiver there. That's their constant caregiver. But what would you suggest? Do you guys have other caregivers that are still trained that fill in,
Yes.
that meet that client
So
beforehand?
we do. We have like a primary and a secondary caregiver, and then we have the app where we have these teams. And so if we have a fill-in, we'll go first to the team for somebody that's already been there, and then they can just hop back in, read the notes, see what happened the day before, jump in, and off we go. But again, this is not a perfect industry. It's not a perfect world. But for the most part, I do feel like we do a really good job with qualified caregivers. Like, we're not in a hospice case, we're going to send somebody that's worked in a hospice space before. We're not just going to send a caregiver that's green or maybe just got here and started working with Home Watch. They have to understand our expectations. They have to understand how we do things. They have to understand our attention to detail before we just put them on a case. Like, we have to see our new caregivers working out in the field and making sure that those expectations are understood before we're just going to put them on a case blindly. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Wait, one more question. Just say that.
Okay, one more question.
One more. There's a million questions to go, but we got one more.
There's always one more.
Yeah.
So talk to me a little bit about the amount of training you do for each caregiver.
Great question. And again, things you need to be asking at that initial intake, all before you ask the price. So here at Home Watch, we do 12 hours minimum training a year. The state of Kentucky requires 6 hours of dementia training for every single caregiver on our team, and then 3 hours after their first year. However, here at Home Watch Caregivers and Home Watch Caregivers as a franchise and as a brand, we require 12. So it's a minimum of 12 hours. Northern Kentucky Home Watch goes over that because we want to provide in-person training outside of online training or book training. So different types of training in person that we're providing is CPR training. We're providing a Dementia 101 and beyond training. We're providing hospitality training, which we just brought in.
Hospitality training.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit
We just brought that in this year, and I'm so excited because I really want our clients to feel like it's an experience. I want the caregivers to feel comfortable having eye contact, taking the initiative, asking questions, feeling comfortable with conversations. I think that's important, those little extra details. I want that to be there. So we brought someone in from the Marriott, who I used to work for, because it's important that it's a good experience as much as possible. And we want to give the caregivers the ability to make decision on the spot to make sure that the client stays as happy as possible, or if not, call us so that we can get involved. So that's a new training for us.
New training,
but it's I think that it's fantastic because it's teaching things that we're looking for: eye contact and communication, not being on your phone or not just sitting there on the couch like a bump on the log. You've hired a caregiver. We're not just going to be sitting there, like, so we want to be engaging
and developing that relationship.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think giving them hints, because that's a great point that you brought up. A lot of our younger generation has a hard time with these topics of conversation.
And it's not any fault of their own.
No.
It's just some of the basic skills we need to kind of just refresh people.
Yeah.
Because we all get busy, we all lose sight, or we are in our phones all the time or things like that, but we lose sight of how to have a conversation with somebody.
Yeah. And we help them with those topics. Like,
Mhm.
these are some things you can talk about. These are some things that you might expect them to do that might be out of the ordinary, but this is how we don't react, right? We don't react to anything. We try not to
We
react
try not to.
anything.
Mhm.
Because that's just where they are in their journey. So, well, thank you for taking
Yeah.
this time.
You're welcome. Again, there's a million questions
There
that you
are.
could ask. And when you really try to put a rate on a caregiver or home care, you really can't do that. I mean, it is an expensive rate, it's an expensive industry, but you have to really think about everything behind the scenes, not just the rate of pay. You have to think about like the companionship that is brought forth,
Yeah.
you know, and someone actually taking mom or dad out for a walk, or taking them to the park or to the grocery store or to lunch. And
Wait, so you guys just don't sit there and
oh
babysit?
no, we don't just babysit.
Oh.
We are not sitters. We are like above that here. And so that's kind of what I come in to just bring that energy of,
Yeah.
we're not just sitting on the couch, you guys. Like,
No, we're not.
I make sure that I've got a lot of energy in this office, like when we're in training and things like that, or when we do surprise visits, you know, why are you in your uniform? Like, get in your uniform, you know. Oh, I don't have it with me today. Oh, I have a shirt. You know what I mean? Like, we try to come up with solutions.
This is our new
See?
shirt. See,
Yeah.
we have new pink shirts. For
Yeah, so when
caregivers.
you're thinking that, yes, it's expensive, yes, all of these things, but behind the scenes, if you dig deep in your interviewing questions, you're going to see the value in it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So, guys, thank you for taking this time with us. Don't forget, like, subscribe.
Yes.
What are all the things?
And if you have more questions, contact us.
Reach out to
Yeah,
us. with
call
anything.
us, email us, text us, send a pigeon. I don't care. Just get the question to us so that we can help address it for you.
Yeah, because we here at Home Watch Caregivers, we believe we concentrate on what abilities they still have left, right? Let's stop thinking about, oh, they lost this or they can't do this, and let's concentrate on the possibilities
Right.
of what they could do.
Yeah.
So thank you all so much.
Yes, thank you,
Please
Colleen.
put your questions in the comments. We would love to answer them, even if you have another caregiver or you choose another care service.
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay with us.
We are
wanna
just
be here to
giving you a
support the
resource,
community.
resources and
Yeah.
you know, education.
We are your Northern Kentucky resource for home care and dementia care.
Absolutely.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.